Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
US-based pastor sought by police in connection with a mummified elderly woman's body. Utech non-academic staff Restive over delayed retroactive payments. And later in sports, time given for renovation work on the National Stadium.
Now the details. We begin with a TVJ News follow-up. A Jamaica pastor based in the U.S. is being sought by the police in connection with a mummified elderly woman's body. The discovery was made earlier this month in Westmoreland. Carrie Simpson reports.
Viola Distin's body was found in Old Hope District's Little London, Westmoreland earlier this month. The Westmoreland police have listed a Jamaican pastor who is based in the United States as a person of interest following the discovery. Miss Distin's body was found in a mummified state. The person of interest is Delroy Jones. He is believed to have been living in Little London prior to leaving for the States. The police are urging Mr. Jones to make contact with them. TVJ News understands that in a caution statement, Miss Distin's caregiver, Gina Robinson, and another woman, Laverne Wedderburn, told investigators they were instructed by Jones to care for Miss Viola Distin. The woman further alleged that Mr. Jones sent money to take care of her basic needs. When Miss Distin died in December 2023, the woman alleged they were instructed by Jones to conceal the body and create a makeshift grave for the elderly woman. Robinson and Wedderburn were recently charged by the police. Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
Non-academic staff at the University of Technology are restive this afternoon as they are yet to receive their retroactive payments. President of the Administrative Staff Association, Janet Grayson, says no explanation was provided for the delay.
On March 14th, at the Ministry of Labour, at our conciliation meeting, we all agreed that the payment would be made in July. And so we are very concerned at this time. We're asking Minister Favour Williams. We are asking the Minister of Education, Minister Dana Morris Dixon, to shed some light to the staff at the institution, the unionized members and non-unionized personnel at the institution. We are extremely concerned at this time.
Ms. Grayson is hoping the issue will be resolved today, warning further action will be taken.
We will have no other choice but to take corrective action if this is not done. And I'm sure our ministers are extremely reasonable and they do know that we did agree verbally for this payment to be made. And so we are anticipating that it is only a delay and that the payment will be sent to the university to offset the retroactive payment long overdue for staff.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is rejecting claims that Jamaicans were denied re-entry upon deportation. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says Jamaica has not refused the return or transfer of any of its citizens.
The clarification comes after U.S. Homeland Security Department Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin revealed in a post on X that 5 criminal illegal aliens were deported to Eswatini. She said the deportees were from Vietnam, Jamaica, Laos, Cuba and Yemen and had been convicted of crimes ranging from child rape to murder, adding that the flight included individuals so uniquely barbaric that their home countries refused their repatriation. However, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith disclosed that the ministry has initiated inquiries with the U.S. authorities to ascertain the veracity of the reported inclusion of a Jamaican in the transfer. She maintains that the government has not refused the return of any Jamaican, and accordingly, if the reports are confirmed, engagements will continue with the U.S. on the arrangements necessary to facilitate the individual's return to Jamaica. In the series of posts Wednesday, Mrs. McLaughlin detailed that the Jamaican is said to have been convicted of murder and sentenced to 25 years confinement, robbery with a 6-year sentence, and possession of a weapon carrying a 6-month confinement. Mrs. McLaughlin described the men as depraved monsters who had been terrorizing American communities. The continued deportation exercise forms part of President Donald Trump's countrywide dragnet on illegal migrants in the U.S. Since the start of July, 8 migrants from several countries were sent to South Sudan after the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to resume deporting migrants to third countries. Eswatini is landlocked by neighbors South Africa and Mozambique. Nakinski Robinson, TVJ News.
The Jamaica Teachers Association has expressed concern about the planned rollout of the government's rural school bus system. The JTA warns some students may face challenges getting the service when it begins in September. Speaking at Tuesday's School Leadership Conference in St. Anne, the incoming JTA President, Mark Malavert, pointed to weaknesses in the current arrangement between schools and the Ministry of Education. The association believes that without immediate support, students in certain areas could be left at a disadvantage. While the long-term benefits of the program have been acknowledged, the JTA is calling for greater clarity on how students who are not initially served by the system will be supported during the transition period.
I'm asking that before you take that approach, you have dialogue with the principals to understand what is happening on the ground, and then tailor your response along that line. Minister, because the bus system in many instances is helping a lot of our students to get to the institutions. And as it is now, the JUTC will not be able to respond come September to take those students from out of the rural communities down to their schools.
In response, the Ministry of Education and Youth has indicated that measures are in place to ensure no student is left behind.
It is important, yes, but it is not the be-all and end-all of everything. It's 100 buses with 10 for if they get damaged. It's a start. It's not going to reach every rural community. And so the programs that exist now, we can't walk away from them. So I'm telling you that we cannot not be funding our schools that need the support.
According to the ministry, collaboration with stakeholders is ongoing to facilitate a smooth implementation.
So the plan is, over time, each year you buy more buses and then you roll them out. But 100 cannot fix the problems we've seen. It will help. It will help on the routes that we're putting them on. But there are multiple routes that will not get the support, and you have to continue to support them through the funds that we provide.
The Rural School Bus Program forms part of a broader government effort to enhance access to education and ease the transportation burden on families in underserved regions. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says rural schools face challenges due to limited parent engagement. Dr. Morris-Dixon calls for a new approach to evaluating school performance.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon believes one of the main factors preventing students from performing at a higher level, especially in rural schools, is rooted in parent involvement. Speaking at a back-to-school conference for principals and vice principals from Region 2, the Education Minister said schools must be evaluated differently as there are other factors affecting results.
When I see numbers and I look at PEP results, I always want to see behind the numbers. And I think Jamaica gets too obsessed with results and numbers like this and not looking at what's driving it. And as I was in rural St. Thomas yesterday, I was seeing firsthand some of the issues relating to poverty. He spoke about the children only going to school sometimes, some days of the week. How are you going to get good performance and good results when children come only occasionally?
She said schools are doing more now because they have to pick up the slack for parents.
Parents are a lot less involved now than they were in the past. And in many instances, they're sometimes hostile to the school. And we all know, we see it. The children are not being socialized adequately in their homes or in their communities.
It is why she believes administrators may have to become creative to have an interactive parenting program.
Our parents are struggling with being good parents. And I've seen too many schools, especially the schools that want to improve their performance. And they tell you they're trying new things, they're innovating, and the parents just won't show up. They don't come to PTA meetings at all. And then when they do come, it is to defend their child against disciplinary action that may have been taken. So that parenting piece, we're doing what we're doing in the ministry in terms of your leadership development and working with the teachers in numeracy and so on. But if we don't fix the parenting piece, we're not going to get the outcomes that we want.
Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
Garbage continues to pile up in communities across the country, even with continued efforts from the National Solid Waste Management Authority. The issue remains unresolved. The persistent issue of garbage pileups remains a major concern across communities. Despite ongoing efforts, the problem continues to pose a serious public health and environmental risk. This isn't the first time the head of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Audley Gordon, has raised the alarm. Yet, despite repeated warnings and targeted campaigns, garbage management remains a stubborn challenge.
A truck will be detained there for like 6 hours sometimes trying to clean it up. Sometimes we have to get backhoes. Hire. We don't have backhoes at the agency. We have to hire heavy duty equipment to scrape up the concrete blocks. People refurbishing their houses. They toss out the old tile, the old zinc. And I'm not talking about when there's a burnout. Because when we have people burned out, we rally to them. We are just in the process now of being one in Coast and Kensington.
Speaking at the KCMC recently, Mr. Gordon explains further just how often individuals fail to take personal responsibility for their waste. Whether it's household trash left on the street corners or commercial waste dumped in open lots, the consequences are now evident in blocked drains and increasing rodent populations.
But why should someone be building a house or refurbishing a house? They can hire tradesmen. They can buy the tile, the tin set, and his porcelain and them tile. They can buy the new thing for the roof. They can do all the other things that are very expensive. But for some reason, they can't hire a truck to move the debris to the disposals.
While the NSWMA continues its operations, Mr. Gordon says the agency cannot fight the battle alone. There is now a renewed call for greater involvement from stakeholders and persons in leadership roles to support enforcement efforts to help drive behavioral change at all levels.
One of the things I'm challenging, and it is not popular yet, but once people begin to think, they will see the wisdom. We are responsible for the solid waste that we generate. We don't just generate it and toss it out. What other people do, and I've been, yes, in the great United States, where other people will tell you how, or Canada, and I've seen people have garbage packed up because it's not the day to put it out yet. They have different days when certain things go out. You can verify this.
It's true.
And they have to keep it together until the time when it's over.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Caribbean Cream is reporting a net loss of $18 million for the first quarter of this year, despite a rise in gross operating revenues. Revenues climbed $802 million for the quarter ending May 31, up from $759 million during the same period last year. It's an increase of $43 million or 6%. The board notes that a major mechanical breakdown in its cold room led to a reduction in stock available for sale. The disruption affected logistics and contributed to the company's financial loss. Further afield, nearly 700,000 Ford vehicles will need repairs. According to a notice from the National Highway Safety Administration, certain Ford Bronco Sport vehicles and Ford Escape vehicles are under recall. The automaker says the fuel injectors inside the vehicles could crack and leak inside the engine compartment. Ford says if enough liquid fuel or even fuel vapor accumulates on a hot surface, a fire could ignite underneath the hood. The Ford Bronco Sport models under recall are from 2021 to 2024. The Ford Escape model years are from 2020 to 2022. And that's it for the Business Minute.
Time now for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, the Barbados government says the decision by the European Union to remove the island from its lists of high-risk third countries significantly improves the environment for Barbadian investors doing business in Europe. In a statement, Attorney General Dale Marshall said it has been a long time coming. He adds that Barbados should have been removed from the list a year ago, having been removed from the Financial Action Task Force grey list early last year. Barbados will be officially removed from the black list on August 5. On the international scene, a rescissions package slicing $9 billion in funding for public broadcasting and foreign aid is heading to the House. That's after Republican senators passed it in the early morning hours, 51 to 48. They're trying to meet a deadline tomorrow. Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski are the only members of the GOP in the chamber who did not support it. The House is coming off a late night of its own, focused on cryptocurrency legislation. GOP holdouts are why a procedural hurdle last night set a new record for the longest House vote in modern history. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Deidre Thomas.
Thank you, Deidre. We take another break. Sports is next.